Now we're going to work on our student enrollment data, but before we create pivot tables for this, we need to create some more data and make some more sense of it. So we're going to take the level of student and create a nested if statement. The great thing about nested ifs is it actually gives you exactly what you need to put in there in your equation when you're creating the equation itself. So I did create one, and I'm one of those people that once I've got a great equation, I'm going to keep it. So I'm going to go back and show you what it looks like here. So I went to our first couple, A and B here for our columns, and then added another column, column C, and then I'm looking at the level of student. So the level of student, if it's 4, then they're senior. If it's 3, then they're junior, like that. So I want to return that because people wouldn't be able to make sense of that unless I explain that to them on the pivot table. So I'm just going to take that code and add a name to it so it's easier to understand. So we've got an equals if here for our if statement. Have equals if B2 would be our logical test is B2. So if B2 is 4, and look, now I press on the logical test in the equation and it highlights the answer to that. So I know my B2 equals 4 is correct. That's what I want. So if B2 equals 4 for the logical test, then I'm going to click the value. If that's true, then this equation is going to return senior. If it's false, then it's going to work through the rest of my nested ifs. So my next if, I'm going to give that a test. So that if statement, if the logical test B equals 3, junior, if it's true, then the equation is going to return junior. If it's false, then it's going to look for more information with these nested ifs. So if the logical test is B2, so B2 equals 2, then it's going to return sophomore. And if false, then it's going to look for the other number in that column, which is 1. And if B2 holds a 1 for the logical test, then it's going to, if true, return the word freshman. And if false, it's going to return blank. So with blank, I just did in quotes, quote, space, quote. Be sure to include your quotes in your if statement. So important. And I know the other tutorials have shared that, but just a repeat. And what I did here when I was creating the equation is I just put one parentheses at the end because I know it's probably going to need at least 3 or 4 parentheses, but I know if I have the equation right, Excel's going to say, hey, you need more parentheses. So here, let's just do a little example. I have 1. I'm going to hit enter because I want that equation. And now it says, hey, we found a typo in your formula. Do you want us to correct it? Yes, I do. And it did. Brought back senior, and all it just did was add these last few parentheses. So, okay, now all I have to do is do a little flash fill, and it will fill the rest. And I have more information for my pivot table.